I would be lying if I didn't admit how strange it feels to be sitting so far away from the camera. I sort of just forget that the microphone goes the distance. And my friend Jack, he always sits in his little cute chair in his library. And I thought, why don't I do that today? I've got this campy leopard print chair. And I thought it would be fun to try out something new while I tell you about my May report, all the things I've been loving, indulging in the month of May. It was a beautiful month. I used lots of things. And I feel as though this report gives us a little bit of direction, hopefully makes these videos a little bit more meaningful for you. So we're just going to get into it and take it away. I do weekly reports on TikTok, and so we're going to be following this format. R stands for reading, and I read 10 books in the month of May, all of which were pretty good, like decent books. Some I am happy to have read, probably won't think about a lot, but there was no really bad books that I didn't enjoy. Everything had substance to it, but the two I'm going to talk to you about are books that have left somewhat of a lasting impact and that I will keep recommending to people. The first is Love Me Tender by Constance Debris. This sort of came up on my list a few months ago, I would say, when I started working at the bookshop I do, because it's a really loved book between my boss and so yeah, she encouraged me to read it, and this is a part of a 3-part series. The third part has just been translated. That is Name, and also Petty loves this book, and so I was sold on it. And I love the cover, and I love the premise of it. So this is, from what I understand, autofiction on Constance Debris' life, and it follows our narrator in the aftermath of leaving their husband to live their life as an openly out lesbian. And it talks a lot about this idea of the ramifications of that in terms of her relationship with her son. And I thought it was really interesting because it talks about like the demonization of queer people and queer families, and how this heterosexual nuclear family is so entrenched and ingrained into society that anyone who deviates from that is demonized and reprimanded for it. And I thought it was incredibly beautifully written. Like, there was so many lines in here that just knocked the wind out of me. But I think it's a commentary that a lot of people struggle. I've heard a lot of people call this book like extremely confronting, and I don't think I found it awfully confronting. I felt sad that this poor person was going through what they were going through, and how society had just demonized them so heavily. But I didn't find any of the things that our protagonist was discussing awfully like outlandish or crazy. Maybe that's because I'm a queer person myself. And I think this really beautifully touched on this idea of like queerness versus gayness. That's something that I've been circling back to. And I also really enjoyed Boulder this month, which I kept thinking about that idea of like the difference between someone being queer. And I had a discussion with a friend about it too, is like there's a big difference between someone being queer and gay, and how that leads to living more normative lifestyles. But that's a tangent. And I think everybody should read this book. I think this will challenge a lot of people, of course, but I think it's really important. And one of those like alternate motherhood books, which, if you know me, you know I love. So I really enjoyed this, and I'm excited to read the next one's Playboy and then there's Name. So I will definitely get to those in due course, but I really enjoyed this. And then I read Sunstruck by William Rayford Hunter. This book I think just came to me at the right time. It arrived, I opened it, and it just felt like the book that I wanted to read right then and there, which doesn't often happen. This is out by Penguin, and this is Rayford's debut novel, which I thought was absolutely insane because this is phenomenal. I loved this book. It's about 400 pages long, so on the longer side, but I couldn't put it down. It just has this like pace and this plot that just drives it and is like, you cannot put it down. I didn't put it down. It took me about like 2 days, 3 days to read. And it starts off as one thing, as like this Call Me By Your Name, Saltburn-esque type of book. And we follow our protagonist as they go away to the French countryside to visit their university friend's family. And we know from the beginning that our protagonist is going to get entangled with the family, and specifically their brother. And so it has this like Saltburny, Call Me By Your Name, summery fling vibe. But William Rayford Hunter slowly starts weaving in these political threads and driving home this big message of race, of class, of wealth and money. And it becomes this complex masterpiece, but in such a palatable way for the masses. Like people don't feel like they're being fed this political notion, which I think will go down really well because people will pick this up as a read that you can just read. You don't really have to think about it, but it's going to leave them with this really long lasting message, which I don't know, I think is a really good thing. And it's like very easy to read, although there are lots of poetic lines, which I love, because at no point did I feel like I was struggling or having to concentrate on this, which sometimes is just what you need. And at the time that I read it was something that I was looking for. And so this just really delivered. I think it's a beautiful queer book that is just not really like anything I've read, which is really nice because I feel like we keep getting a lot of the same things, but this was different. And so I really liked it. And if you are looking for a new queer book to read, I definitely can't recommend this highly enough. Like, this will be I hope this is the book of the summer in the United States and Europe and everywhere else that it's coming up to summer in, because I think it's the perfect summer read. Next in the monthly report is E for eating. To be honest, I haven't really been hyper fixating on anything overly this month. I've been loving soup, I've been loving my yogurt bowls, but that's sort of like a monthly thing. One thing I did eat this month, and or two things actually that I really enjoyed, was my mum made this lamb ragu pasta, and we got the pasta from this Italian man who hand makes it. It was this fettuccine, and it rocked my world. I've been thinking about it ever since. I don't have a photo of it though, so sorry about that. And then I also ate these crumpets at the Carriage Works market in Sydney because it was right next door to the Writers' Festival. And oh my God, these crumpets had this maple butter that I've been dying to try, and it was delicious. So I really like those. That's what I've been eating. Nothing really crazy, to be honest, but it's something. The letter is P, and that is for playing. I've been listening to a lot of music this month, and I was sort of going through a phase where I wasn't listening to a lot of music, but I just needed to find a few artists that fit the vibe of this wintry, cold weather that we're going through. But I was introduced by Dylan to Angie McMahon, and there is an album called Light, Dark, Light Again, and two songs in particular, Fish and I can't remember what the other one is, but I've been listening to these songs on repeat, and they've been driving everything I do. Like everything I've been writing sort of like circles back, and this feeling of like some of the lyrics just like, oh my God, they take my breath away, and I've just been loving these songs. So if you are looking for a new album, definitely go check that out. And also Sydney Ross Mitchell, I think is her name. Also some really good bangers on that from that songwriter. So I've been really liking that too. O is for obsessing over, and I've been obsessing over this fragrance right here. This is Ground by Gabar, and this is Ground number 2 actually, and this is a fragrance that I was sent really kindly, and it has lived rent-free in my brain. When I first smelt it, I wasn't obsessed, but it has grown on me like no other. The best way I can describe this is a walk in like an enchanting forest after it's been raining all day, and it's like you've napped in the afternoon and you've gone out for a walk, and the sun started to creep through over these trees, and I just love it. It's definitely a woody scent, but it has these two notes. In the middle, I think there's some sort of fig note, and then on the top a coriander. So it has this woody undertone, but this like sweetness to it that makes it really sexy and musky. And I get asked about this every single time I wear it. So I've been obsessing over that and been wearing it way more than I thought I would. There is a fragrance I'm looking to get this month. It's Falcon Leather, and it's been living rent-free in my brain, and I'm definitely gonna have to buy that too. So maybe that will be on the next monthly report, fingers crossed. R is next, and that is for recommending. I'm going to recommend you two different things. The first being this blush right here. I went into Mecca whilst I was in Sydney. I hate going into Mecca. I just feel out of place. I don't know why it is. I feel, maybe it's just because I feel uneducated on what I should be getting, but I wanted like a red blush that was natural and made me feel like I just spent all afternoon in the sun, like, you know, that sun-tanned boy trend, sunburnt trend. I wanted that, and I wanted it to look natural, and so everyone was saying go to Glossier. They have like good natural looking makeup, and I found this. So this is the Storm color of Cloud Paint, and it's a seamless cheek color blush, and it's a liquid, and I did spill it the first time I opened it because it just came flying out the top. But I have been loving this. A little goes a long way, and I have just been loving that it comes off naturally, and it just, I don't know, it just feels right for me at the moment. So I am definitely recommending that. It was around 30 Australian dollars. So what's that, like maybe 20 US dollars or 15 euros. So I guess it's not that expensive. And I feel like it will go a long way. So I'm definitely recommending that. And then also, I am going to recommend, I never thought I'd say this, but I'm recommending the AirPods Pros because, look, I was a certified AirPod hater. And that's because when I was in year 9, I obviously was like a little kid and I'd saved all my money and I went out and I bought the first edition of the AirPods. And they hurt my ears so bad. Like the hard plastic against this part of the ear, it would give me like the worst ear aches. I couldn't wear them for longer than like 20 minutes at a time. And so I sold them and I decided I was never going to buy another pair of AirPods again. These AirPods Pros never sort of sparked any interest because of that for me. My mum found these at the laundromat. She brought them home thinking they were one of ours because they came out of the dryer with our stuff. And I tried to reacquaint them with their owner, but of course that was going to be very difficult because how was I meant to do that? I tried looking up their name on Facebook. I tried all these things. Couldn't do it. So they've now become mine. I've adopted them and given them a home, which I don't know, might say a lot about me, but these AirPods have changed my life. I have decided if I ever lose these, touch wood I don't, but if I do, I will be buying another pair straight away. The noise cancelling on these is unlike any other earbud or headphone that I've used. They last so long and they're so comfortable. They're literally the best headphones I've ever had, and they fit in my pocket. They have changed my life. I usually would wear like a pair of like little like earbud Beat things to the gym, and then my big overhead headphones, and so I was carrying around multiple headphones, and this has just changed my life. It's one little set of headphones that goes with me everywhere. The charge lasts for ages, and I love them, if you can't tell. So I'm definitely recommending the AirPods Pros. I love them so much. And T is for treating yourself to. And look, when I was thinking about what I'm treating myself to, I was like, book hauls, but that's like honestly not a treat anymore because I do that all the time. And I haven't really bought anything except like books or like that blush. So I was trying to take a different approach to it, and I was thinking I'm treating myself to like slowing down a little bit, but then I was like, that would be a blatant lie because I've been so busy. But what I have decided to say is that I am treating myself to wearing more comfortable shoes because for so long, I have worn shoes that have hurt my feet for the look of it. And I'm not saying I'm not going to do that anymore because there's a few pairs of shoes that I love that really hurt my feet. And when the time calls, I will be wearing them. But I'm going to limit it to more special occasions and try to lean in to comfortable shoes because I've got 3 pairs of Solomons, and a few years ago I used to wear Solomons way more, and then I bought a second pair in Japan and I wear them when I go walking, and then they got a hole in them within like the 2 days of having them, and so Solomon gave me a gift card and I got these at the start of the year, and I decided to get black because I was like, I'll wear them more, but I just haven't worn them until this month, and I have been living in them all the time. I've been wearing them with everything because they are so comfortable. They are like clouds on my feet. I love them so much, and I've decided that I'm going to buy a pair of blue Asics. These like beautiful, they're sort of hard to get, but they're expensive. But I think I just need to start looking after my feet because I am constantly sore and like tired of having sore feet. So I am here and treating myself to wearing comfortable shoes and buying comfortable shoes because there's some really cute ones on the market, and you've just got to, there's a thing in Melbourne where people sort of just wear whatever they want and it works because it's sort of eclectic, it's very queer, and so I'm trying to lean into my queerness, which I feel like I'm always doing, but this month more I'm feeling really in touch with my queerness. I'm going to start wearing more comfortable shoes, and yeah, and I think for next month I'm going to try and treat myself to like allowing myself to be more what I want to be. So that's next month's goal. I think I'm going to get a haircut, change up the hairstyle, which some people are going to hate. But anyways, some tangents for you. I have run on like a million tangents in this video, but I'm loving just sitting down, talking to you guys, sharing what's going on, and I hope you like this background. It will change, of course, once the painting is hung on the wall. But let me know, what have you been liking, enjoying? What's your monthly report? I can't wait to hear and spend more time with you. I appreciate all the time you spend with me here on this channel. It honestly means the world. So yeah, that's it for now, and I'll see you soon. Toodaloo.